Once you made it live, just say yes. Okay. Uh, Good afternoon and good evening to everyone. Welcome to Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology, a fantastic initiative by Government of Rajasthan. In last 1 year, this unique IT finishing school has emerged as a national model. Several states have started inquiring and trying to understand the model to replicate how such a unique IT finishing school can be created in collaboration with leading tech giants, through which the government of Rajasthan is offering up to 100% scholarships through Kujithon, enabling students and professionals to pursue globally recognized courses in advanced and emerging technologies. I'm Kamalakanta Das, working with Team RCAT. I would like to invite Vinita Ma'am, Madam Vinita Srivastava Joint Director, Department of IT and Communication, Manager, RCAT, to, to welcome to all of you to this important session, which is contextualized or located in the discussion of Rajasthan Mission 2030. Over to Vinita Ma'am.
Thank you, KK. Welcome all. So I believe that we have a lot of students here, and I also welcome Manuji as our expert in AIML. I welcome a lot of college professors who have just joined this session, and I'm also hoping that a lot of others are going to join soon. Basically, this session has been designed for AIML and data science. But at the same time, we also need to talk about that how are we going to project our state by 2030. So this is the reason that Honorable Chief Minister has announced that we would prepare a vision document 2030 under the banner of Rajasthan Mission 2030. Um, it is requested to all the participants, of course, go through this session, learn more about AIML, learn more about data science. But at the same time, if you find any field, any process, or any e-governance project that has to be inbuilt or that has to be prepared for making our state one of the pioneer state in the nation, may please add their opinion or feedback. uh, you can add here in the chat box. One of my team member would collate all of those feedback also. And you can also go and log into mission2030.rajasthan.gov.in. It is open for all. Anybody and everybody can add their opinion on that portal. And that portal will collate all the opinions, and that would help us to make that roadmap to go on the top and become the pioneer in our nation. So this is all about the Mission 2030. I also want to tell you about RCAT, how RCAT is bridging the gap between the between the academic curriculum and the industry demand. This session is one such initiative taken by us so that the emerging technologies which are there in the market, and it is being used by all big projects of our country, including Chandrayaan 3. How AI is enabling us to, to explore in even in the field of space, agriculture, science and technology, and this would give you an exposure that how this technology can be used either to employ yourself, become employable, or to start yourself as an entrepreneur, or set up yourself as an entrepreneur. So this session is being set up for you to understand about the concept. But at the same time, while learning this concept, you would also get this leverage to add your opinion on from your state perspective, either from a technology end or a government process or the addition of technology in any of the e-governance process. It would be highly appreciable from our end. At the end of this session, you all get the certificate of participation. All students would get it, which would definitely help you to understand and to add it in your resume, saying that you have the elementary idea about AIML and data science. This is all from my end. Meanwhile, this session would be approximately of 1 hour, and we would try that in the break during this session or in any, if we get any gap, we would talk about what all initiative Department of IT has taken to make this robust ecosystem of e-governance in our state. So we would share our initiatives, our progress in between of these sessions. Meanwhile, all of these students are requested to please add your opinions in the chat box. We would all collate it. Thank you all. Manoji, you may start. KK, may please moderate this session further. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita ma'am, for the brief introduction and letting us know that Rajasthan Mission 2030, our participants can send their suggestions as well. So before we proceed, I would like to just to say a few words about Manoj Singh sir, who is presently working as Senior Analytical Training Consultant in SAS Global Education, Statistics and Advanced Analytics. He possesses a remarkable teaching aptitude with 21 plus years of experience in the field of education and training. He has been working with SAS since last 14 years, managing analytics training in Asia Pacific, Europe, and the Middle East region. His offerings have been around SAS analytics courses for a variety of businesses, banking, insurance, retail, telecommunication, government departments, etc. Thank you, Manojji. We are sure that our participants will benefit greatly from your decades-long experience. And you are someone who is also an expert who can navigate several sectors in the government as well. So very ideal to have you. And thank you. Over to you, Manojji. Take it forward. You
Thank you
take it
so much,
forward.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dash, Professor Dash, ma'am, Vinita, and all other professors. My dear students, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my experience, insights about what data science is and how data science can be used for competitive advantage, uh, taking in view the future, how we can shape the future of our state or maybe the country. So allow me to talk about this particular session. Um, the theme of the presentation is leveraging data science for competitive advantage, envisioning Rajasthan 2030, right? So we all have been talking about the initiatives that the government must take in order to become kind of a leading state or maybe a kind of an example setter for the entire nation, right? So if I look at the current scenario, there was a time when data was, it was very difficult to get data. But now is the time when data is available everywhere and anywhere. And you must have heard the phrase that data is the new currency, right? Now, why people say that data is the new currency? So the main whole idea behind saying that the data is the new currency is because of the fact that, if you can derive important insights from the data, then it can help your business or your organization to excel well, right? But my dear friends, it needs to understand that it's not only about data, that can bring, the values to you. It's also about using the data in a meaningful way, right? So when we are saying that the data is not a problem today, since the data is flowing everywhere and anywhere, the data is not pure, not the data is not in the form that can be consumed directly for deriving the insights or for getting the value out of it. So what one should do in order to make meaningful insights from the data is what is the important aspect of today's world, and that is where the data science comes into the picture, right? So it's not only about having data in place, but also to know what algorithm, what techniques are to be applied on the data so that we can derive important insights from the data. And in order to continue this, we have divided the entire session into several sections, and that is to talk about the overview of data science. What is data science? What is the various disciplines of data science? What constitutes this? Some of the applications and use cases. So we will see how we have applied SaaS solutions in making things smarter, and that includes some of the examples where even the government of Rajasthan have implemented SaaS solutions, to take decisions, to derive insights from the data, right? So we'll talk about these, and sir, feel free to interfere wherever required. I can deep dive into any of the concepts if it is required. So friends, we are seeing that today the corporations around the globe, they are moving away from the mindset of scarce resources. That includes not spending money on the enabling technologies. There was a time when people, organizations were hesitant in spending money on enabling the technologies, but that's not the time right now, right? So there was a time when the processes were uh, driven by rules and the processes were very rigid, right? They were focused on controlling costs. But today corporations are moving to a mindset of abundance of resources, that includes being technology empowered, right? So people are not worrying about the cost. They are worrying about how can I make use of the technology that has been enabled, right? Evolution of data science, the data discovery. So mainly the decisions are driven by the data, not necessarily by the person, right? So there has been more creativity nowadays, more focus on deriving value from the data and processes, and there are less of the rules. So this has been the movement, this has been the shift of the mindset from the scarcity to the abundant, right? And that is where we are kind of engaged to make use of the technology to the best possible way, right? Now you might be wondering, what are the reasons behind the emergence of data science? Why all of a sudden people have started talking about data science, AI, ML? For last maybe 4 5 6 years, this has been the talk of the town, that everybody is talking about AI, ML. What has made it so evident, right? So one of the reasons that one can think of is automation. There was a time when we used to fill out paper based forms, but now is the time when instead of filling out the paper based forms, we now fill out forms on websites, and those websites are directly tied to a database, right? So everything is getting stored somewhere, and therefore that manual intervention is not there anymore. So the manual processes are increasingly automated and measured. So there are different ways of measuring all those things, right? Now another reason for this evolution or emergence of data science is, you are always living in a connected world. What do I mean by connected world? You have the internet access, whether you are at home, you are at your workplace, you are sitting in a restaurant, you are sitting in a mall, you are in you are carrying a mobile phone, and it means that you have internet and you are kind of connected anytime you are on a network. We we are in a way implicitly generating data, that is either in the form of the GPS info or maybe the server logs, etc., right? So the data is getting generated knowingly, unknowingly. You are contributing to that generation of the data set, right? Now there was a time traditionally, when people having printing presses, recording studios, they could only create the content and make it available to others. But do you think you need a printing press, you need a recording studio to make the data or a report available to any other user? No. Anybody who is carrying a laptop, who is having a cell phone, can can share the information in the form of a blog, in the form of photo, in the form of video, in the form of any audio, you know. So because the data is available from all corners, all walks of your life, it has become more important now to make use of the data. And that is the main reason behind the emergence of this new world, what we are calling as the data science, right? So if you have to understand or define data science, there could be various definitions of data science, but SAS defines data science as a multidisciplinary field. And remember, this is not a field that consists of a single domain or a single area, right? So it combines the skills coming from software engineering, that is computer engineering, statistics, also requires the domain expertise. And this is how the confluence of all these three pillars or the three fields, they support the analysis of large and diverse data set. And why we are saying data set? Because there was a time when large diverse data set, because there was a time when we only used to consider the numerical data as the data. But my dear friends, nowadays the time has come when the data doesn't necessarily mean numbers. You know, the data also means pictures, audios, videos, text information. Imagine the power of Twitter. You all know, whenever you have some grievances and the grievance is not being heard by the particular department, what do? You escalate that through the Twitter to the higher officials, to the authorities, to the ministers, to the government, to the secretaries, right? And what happens? It is the problem gets attention, right? So the power of Twitter, the power of social media, and there the only way of communication is through text, the unstructured data. So when we are talking about the data, it's not only about the numbers, it's about various forms, right? Which includes pictures, videos, audios, and the textual information. So if you need to understand or deep dive just for our own information, that what are the key pillars of the data science. Now it is not necessary that my slide might have covered each and everything, but definitely it is talking about the major areas, that compose the data science field, right? So friends, one of the important key areas, if you want to be a data science expert, is the knowledge of the programming skills, right? And also to be familiar with what is called as the database administration, data management, data integration. You should have the expertise to be able to transform the data, and this can be achieved by having expertise in the computer science and also knowing some of the programming languages. Now there is no dearth of programming languages nowadays. Everybody is having an access to R, Python, SAS, SQL, Fortran, and so on and so forth, right? So in order to be proficient, one of the areas, in one of the uh, uh, pillars, you have to be a computer technician, right? Then the other important field is a mathematician or statistician role of data science. That requires the knowledge of traditional statistical methods. And that is where, math, statistics, operation research, all this comes into the picture. This is another important field or the area. Then the third, and I would say the important one, is the business expertise. You have to have the domain expertise in order to guide the entire analysis. Otherwise, it will be a untargeted bullet, which we don't want, right? So these are the three specific areas or the main disciplines of data science. And you can see in this Venn diagram, there are several intersections that you can see as a result of the intersection of, say, the maths or the statistics area and the business acumen. Now, the intersection point of the business acumen and the maths or statistics knowledge is what forms a role of business analysts, right? You must have heard about business analysts, um, business analysts being employed by various departments, various organizations, right? So what is expected from them? They are expected to have knowledge about the statistical things and also about the business acumen, right? Then you can also have someone who is expert in computer science, programming, right? And also in statistics or mathematics, right? Someone who is expert in both of these fields is what we call as the machine learning expert, right? So machine learning we are going to talk in detail as far as this particular course is concerned, presentation is concerned, right? So we'll see how machine learning can help us solving our business problems. Then the intersection point or the overlapping of what is called as the business expertise and the programming knowledge or the computer proficiency can result into what is called as the business intelligence, right? Now, why we are calling this as business intelligence? Because of the fact that you know what the business problem is because you are an expert in the business, right? And you also have enough knowledge to guide your problem by writing appropriate lines of code, by doing some kind of data management. You can generate the required report, but you may not necessarily be in a position to build a model to predict some futuristic events, right? So this is where we say that the confluence of these two areas constitutes what is called as the business intelligence. And now comes the most important part, and that is you know the confluence of all the three main areas, right, is what constitutes the data science, right? So if you are calling yourself as a data science, then we expect that you are at least possess a solid strength in two areas and some skills in the third area. Now, I don't know which two areas, which one area, that's up to the person. I may be proficient. I may be proficient in maths and statistics and programming, but I might not be knowing the business. Um, and therefore, a data scientist requires a solid strength in at least two areas. I'm saying at least two areas doesn't mean that you should not know the third area. It's great if you know the third area, but it's difficult to find a person, and if you are one such, you are blessed, right? So that is what we are trying to say, that why it is difficult to find a data scientist, or why data science is an emerging field, why people are running after it, why people are seeing so much of a strength in this particular uh, field, because it requires a plethora of knowledge, right? And my dear friends, all of this comes from a bigger umbrella of what is called as artificial intelligence, or in short, it is termed as AI. And that is what we have been saying since the beginning: AI, ML, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, right? So we'll say why we are using um, this particular terminology a lot in these days, right? Now we can also talk about chat GPT and other things. I can see some of the questions in the chat window, right? But they all kind of talk to each other, not necessarily that it is the subfield of AI ML, but yes, we can talk about it. So my dear friends, I'm saying that AI is the bigger umbrella to which all of these belong to, right? So let's first define and understand what is artificial intelligence, right? So you might have seen various definitions. I don't want you to only talk about this definition that you are seeing in my slide, but yes, it is one of the definitions which says that it is the science of training systems to emulate human tasks through learning and automation. So we are not saying that I am going to specifically program something. I'm not going to write a specific program to do something. Nobody taught me when I was a child. Nobody taught me that when you are crossing a road and when you see a vehicle coming towards you, what you should do. I don't know. I have learned it from my environment. I don't know. My father, my mother might not have told me. They might have told me. I don't know. But many a things you learn from the environment. Many a things you know from surroundings. Many a thing you know when you interact with the environment, right? And these are some of the things that automatically that I should not cross the road when somebody when the vehicle is passing by, or when an animal is passing by, and so on and so forth, right? Or I should stop when an animal is passing by. So What we're trying to say is, I want the machine to emulate human tasks, but it can be done only through learning and automation, right? And that is where, the two words have been kind of highlighted: learning and automation. Understand the context, learn the patterns from the data, and do the prediction. And that prediction could be recognizing an object, or anything, not necessarily recognizing the object always, but anything that you need to predict. That is where the artificial intelligence comes handy, and that is the need of the hour, because we don't have enough workforce, we don't have enough expertise. How to bridge the gap between what is required in the market and what we have as a talent, right? And that is where, this whole initiative of RCAT is to bridge the gap, and how to make use of your potential in order to serve the country, in order to serve the state, right? So let's talk about some of the examples, and then I will give you a break, and maybe you can share your thoughts then. um, when we are talking about the definition of AI, we emphasized on two words, and that was learning and automation, right? What are some of the instances, scenarios? So imagine you are given the pictures, images, right? Now you want the system to learn automatically from the images data and can automatically predict, who is this? Is this Manoj Singh? Or is this an animal? Is this what kind of object is this, right? um, Imagine if your security forces, if we are using it at airport, this can enhance your security. And this is how, we can make use of these models. We can create such models in order to enhance the security, whereby we can help our state or country or our organization, whatever it is, right? You can also learn through the transactions. The machine can learn through the transactions and can automatically identify, is this a fraudulent transaction or it is a legitimate transaction. My dear friends, we are seeing the advancement in the technology. We are seeing the surge in the UPI payments. You know the statistics. You guys know more statistics than me when it comes to how the government is kind of making use of or encouraging the UPI payments through UPI or the online mode. But at the same time, the number of fraudulent transactions or the frauds are also increasing, right? And therefore we have to be ahead of the fraudsters so that we can minimize the risk. And that is where the AI ML comes into the picture, right? So friends, you have the data corresponding to the customers. You want to identify a customer or a user, and you want to predict, will this customer going to buy my product or not, right? And thereby you can maximize the return. Medical images, from analyzing the medical images, you can identify whether the person is healthy. Languages, you can translate the languages, and we all know these applications exist whenever ministers, whenever um, key persons, they visit other countries. We know what kind of translation services are made available, but what if we can automate them, right? And then emails. Most of the emails that you get from various secondary sources, you just delete them, right? And therefore it has become very difficult, or it has become very important for the marketers to identify, to find the way such that you at least open an email. Because nowadays whenever I see an email, if it is not from SAS or it is not from my known things, I just delete it. I don't even open the email and read it, right? Because you consider most of these emails as spams. So what can you do, what the marketers can do to make you open the email, is also an area where a lot of research and the study is going on. Yeah, I will take a break here because I was told to maybe give a break of maybe 5 minutes in between, so that we can interact with each other if need be. So friends, I'm giving you a break of 5 minutes. Feel free to interact amongst yourself or with me if you have any questions. Thank you. I will resume the session after 5 minutes. So I can see various questions here. I may not be able to pick all the questions and respond because I might miss some of these questions, but I can see some questions in um, MBA in business analytics. Um, of course, I mean, I don't know whether this question is targeted to me or someone else, but uh, I would say yes. MBA in business analytics, or maybe any degree or certification in business analytics, will have a better scope when you, in terms of the market requirement. Chat GPT is also this type. I was expecting this question because this is the hot cake that is getting sold in the market nowadays. Everybody's talking about Chat GPT. Chat GPT is, I mean, or I would say this open AI is Chat GPT is slightly different in the sense that this is more for generation of the data. So maybe if you want to generate data, if you want to generate images, if you want to generate image of a person that does not exist, that's possible. Because if I use your picture, you might feel offended. If I use my friend's picture, she might feel offended. So through these algorithms, we can even create a picture of a person that does not exist, and that's possible. So generating data, whether it is audio, video, or text data, or translation of image to image, image to text to image, or maybe improving the resolution of an image, that's also possible through the algorithms, um, that we normally come across in the what is called as the generative algorithm, GAI, GAI. This is the short form that we normally use. Um, Somebody has said that AI is similar to a growing child. Um, so basically, we are trying to mimic the human brain. That is what the AI does. What is the future of AI and ML? So what will AI look like in next 10 years? I would say 10 years is too long a horizon to predict. You can even ask this question and shorten your horizon and say that what it will look like, how it will look like in next maybe 3 to 5 years. Making up a prediction for 10 years or forecast for 10 years would be too big a horizon. The pace at which you know the the technology is advancing, it is very difficult to forecast or predict what will happen in 10 years down the line. It's something that we can predict at the most 2 to 3 years, because who had expected this chat GPT kind of things that will blow the entire world the way it is doing nowadays. You might have used chat gpt, I'm sure, and that's why everybody is fond of knowing the do's and don'ts and ifs and buts about the chat gpt, or maybe the open AI. And then somebody has asked, is there is a difference in computer science and data science? So I talked about how they confluence each other. So if you are saying data science, computer science is one, I would say, important area in data science. Without computer science, the data science may not go a long way. Computer science is required. Only knowing statistics and mathematics may not help you, or only knowing computer science may not help you unless you know about the statistical world or the mathematical world, and so on. Any other comments? Any other questions? Anyone?
As questions are coming, sir, we'll take a brief break just to introduce Rajasthan Mission 2030.
Sure, sir.
Right. So, can you make me presenter so that I can share
I'm
the
so sorry.
Rajasthan
Yeah,
page?
yeah, yeah.
So I'm asking the IT team, can you make the presenter so that I can share the Rajasthan Mission 2030 page? I'm just sharing. You can stop presenting, Manoj sir, just for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
minute.
I have. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I have done.
Okay. So IT team, please make me a presenter. So I will share the uh,
You check service.
Vanitha ma'am, is this visible to you? Is this visible to everyone?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, good. See, this is the Rajasthan Mission 2030 page, and this webinar, which is being organized in this context, that how technology can become a catalyst in making Rajasthan a developed economy by 2030. So, citizens, students, faculty members, all citizens can give their viewpoint on Nagarik Gan. Our Adhikari or Karmachari will be officials there. So, Vinita ma'am, is this audible and visible to you? So the objective of showing this is to that students and participants can go to uh, Nagarik Gan and submit the. See here, you can go. You can put your name, your mobile number, and then you can choose the sector. There are several sectors here, and in the sector there are departments within those sectors, and then you can give your sujhav, which is the suggestion. What do you intend to do? Intend to suggest. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है ऑलरेडी। श्री अशोक गहलोत मुख्यमंत्री राजस्थान वर्ष 2030 तक राजस्थान को देश का नंबर 1 राज्य बनाना चाहते हैं, जिसके लिए समाज के विभिन्न वर्गों से सुझाव आमंत्रित करके राज्य का विजन 2030 दस्तावेज तैयार किया जा रहा है। राजस्थान को वर्ष 2030 तक देश की अग्रणी राज्य बनाने के लिए आप क्या सुझाव देना चाहते हैं? तो अपनी सुझाव अधिकतम 1200 शब्द के बीच में रखें। तो डिटेल आपका भी वहां जा सकता है, एंड देन that your suggestion can help the state become the important economic power by 2030. और हमने वो लिंक भी शेयर किया हुआ है already. The mission 2030 link has been already shared. Vanita ma'am, is this audible to you? I think ma'am is not able to hear us maybe. Manoj sir, you can continue your presentation. And this is, we wanted in between a brief break there so that participants know which is the website, how does it look, and where is the column they can go and submit their suggestions. Over to Manoj sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There have been several questions. Manoj sir, you continue to answer to them, and also you continue to present how data science, including AI and ML, they can actually help government achieve and perhaps become more efficient and achieve quicker results. Over to
Sure,
you.
sir, sure. Can you just enable my presenter's mode, please?
Stop presenting.
I'm not able to present
It's
the
coming.
slides.
It's coming. It's coming, sir.
Thank you. All right. So, friends, this is where we had left, right? We're talking about some of the instances, some of the examples, or where we can learn and then we can expect the machine to automatically return results, and what are the benefits attached to it, right? uh, Now we see that nowadays, you know there is a kind of, I would say, a fear in the minds of the human being, that these technologies are going to replace humans, right? And the answer is, not necessarily, because I don't think that it's so easy for the machines to replace humans completely. Definitely, all the mundane tasks, all the repetitive tasks can be done by the machine. So if you are doing anything repetitive, definitely there is a risk that you may be replaced. But try to understand how machines and human beings together work for the benefit of the humanity, right? So what are we and machines good at? You know, so we are good at common sense. We have empathy. We have intuition. We can uh, do creativity much better than the human mind creativity, versatility. So we are good at all these features, or I would say the characteristics, whereas the machines can execute the tasks faster than the human brains. So they can handle larger data sets, they can automate things, they can make complex calculations, right? um, they can learn more things at a time than the human beings, right? And therefore, why not to make use of the strengths of both the human beings as well as the machines, right? And use it to enhance the capability and give maybe organizations or whatever you are working for, give them the competitive advantage. And that is what we are aiming at. Now, whether it is a private organization or it is a government organization, you know we can definitely work hand in hand. I mean, when I say we, the human beings as well as the machines can work hand in hand in order to leverage that advantage, the competitive advantage. So now let's deep dive and understand the nitty gritties of you know what is machine learning, and then maybe some applications of where it can be used and the use cases, right? And how Rajasthan 2030 vision can be accomplished by using these tools and technologies, right? So friends, we have heard this particular terminology or the term machine learning a lot, and we are hearing it day in day out. What is this machine learning, right? So we say that this machine learning automates the analytical model building. It uses methods, algorithms like neural networks, statistics, some methods or algorithms from operation research, physics, to find the hidden insights in data without explicitly being programmed for what to look or what to conclude. That's the best part. You know, what is required for machine learning algorithms is the data. Data is the main fuel. If that particular fuel is given, the machine learning algorithms can iterate, can learn iteratively in order to find the useful insights from the data with minimal human intervention. And this is important aspect, right? And my dear friends, SAS has got wide range of machine learning algorithms. You must have heard about those algorithms like forest, gradient boosting, neural networks, and they can be used for image processing. They can be used for hyperparameter auto tuning, right? Now, I'm not going into the details of the machine learning, but yes, just to give you an overview, what these machine learning algorithms are, how they are different, how they are similar, and remember that this is a branch of AI, the artificial intelligence, right? Then you must have also heard about deep learning, right? Nowadays, this deep learning thing is going on, um, uh, doing the buzz around the corners. Why people are so much talking about the deep learning? You know why? Because nowadays everybody, even the Facebook or maybe any other social media platform that you are using, they are kind of using this algorithm or these algorithms behind the scene in order to do wonders or in order to surprise you, right? Now that these are some of the functionalities that are used. For example, when you post a picture or a photo on the Facebook, Facebook can even help you in kind of identifying the person. So if you have posted the pictures in past, and you have tagged a person from that particular transactions, the algorithm might learn that in this picture also you might be having Mr. X with you, Mr. Y with you, Miss Z with you, and so on and so forth, right? So all these things are kind of already in use, right? So the combination of constantly growing data and significantly increased computing power have extended the foundational skills to create a deeper aptitude for learning. You are not satisfied with only building a model that can predict whether the transaction is fraudulent or not. You want, your appetite has increased, right? You want more and more, right? So deep learning is a type of machine learning that is used in recognizing speech, identifying objects in images, and more. So you have traveled one step ahead, so from predicting something as fraudulent, non-fraudulent, yes, no, now you are trying to recognize the speech, identify the objects, right? Now, with more computer power, right, we now have the ability to ingest more data sets, larger data sets, and run more complex models with better algorithms, right? And all these combined together bring you into the era of deep learning, right? And this is where, you use um, techniques like convolutional neural networks, CNN, RNN, that is what is getting used behind the scenes. So when you type a message on your WhatsApp, when you write just one or two letters, the system understands that you might be typing this particular word. So as soon as I type happy, it gives me indications like birthday, marriage anniversary, something like that, because I might have typed these particular words many a times together, and that's why it understands from my past transactions that, when you are typing happy, you might be, the next word might be birthday or might be anniversary or something like that. When I type MA, it gives me Manoj or Manisha, maybe something like that, if I have used that particular name number of times. Okay. So we are using it day in, day out. We might not realize every time, but we are using it in some or the other way. So this is one area which we will be using in our day-to-day examples, right? Which takes us to that particular vision of Rajasthan 2030, right? To become a smart city, to become a smart state, right? Then another thing is computer vision, right? Now, where this is used, why it has been there in this particular umbrella. So basically, this computer vision, it relies on pattern recognition and the deep learning to recognize what's in a picture or video, right? Um, so basically, you might have seen this particular application number of times whenever some untoward incident happens. The the police authorities, or maybe the higher authorities, the lawmaking authorities, they analyze and understand the images. They can capture images or videos in real time and then interpret their surroundings. And from surroundings, they can make out various things, right? To reveal various facts, which otherwise would not have been evident, right? And here again, you can make use of algorithms like CNN, RNN. When you go to any specific course, you will learn more about what is this CNN or RNN, right? Um, then we also have what is called as NLP, the natural language processing. Now, why this NLP is important these days? My dear friends, I say that NLP is most important these days because most of the times you interact with the outer world. Outer world means whether it is your institute, whether it is your employer, or you interact with your service provider or the government agencies. Most of the times you are interacting with these external agencies through text. And NLP plays a key role to utilize unstructured data, and this unstructured or the text has huge potential because you can find the information that is not stored anywhere else in your structured data. Structured data only scores information like how long I have been with Airtel, or maybe for any service provider. Suppose I'm talking about any telecom application, how long I have been associated with this particular uh, um, company or service provider, what is my monthly billing, how many times I have interacted with the customer care is more important than all these informations, right? Because that interaction with customer care might trigger me to leave the service provider and churn and join any other service provider. So that is the threat to the to the service provider, and therefore it will help the service provider to understand or analyze the textual data, which can be captured in the form of the text, or I might have sent some email to the service provider that I'm not happy, and so on and so forth, right? So we can use this natural language processing whenever we want to teach the machines to understand, interact, and communicate like humans, you know. And some examples of Alexa, right? Um, we all are aware of this Alexa nowadays because every mobile phone has inbuilt Alexa in it, right? So when you just instruct, the work is done, kind of, right? um, Google, call this person. Google calls that person from your address book, from your contact list, right? So we are seeing the application of all these in our day-to-day life. How we can use it, how we can use this NLP, as I said, you can use it in healthcare, analyzing the patient notes. If patient has written something about the side effects of a drug, imagine the COVID scenario. People have written a lot about the side effects after the vaccinations, right? Those side effects might be useful for the scientists or the engineers, the researchers, in order to make things better, right? In order to improvise upon the drug, right? um, Providing the second opinion, finding the faulty diagnosis. We can use it in finance for complaint analysis. And another most important thing from government perspective is voice of the customer, voice of the citizens, you know. And this is applicable anywhere and everywhere, whether inside home. If I am a father of a kid, it is very important for me to hear out the voice of my kids, otherwise what will happen, you all know, right? Same thing is applicable in all the organizations, right? So this could make the organizations to listen to what their customers or the end users have to say. This way you will be able to analyze the complaints, you will be able to analyze the requests, right? And that is what we just now saw. You saw that particular form where you have to fill out, the suggestions for Rajasthan 2030. Government is willing to listen to what one should have, or what should be incorporated in our 2030 vision document. And that is where the government is trying to hear out from the end users. We are the end users, we the people of the state are the end users, right? So see, ultimately Rajasthan is kind of trying to learn, trying to make use of these applications, and make lives better in the coming period. I will stop here, and then I will move on to the applications after 5 minutes. In the meantime, um, Dr. Dash can come in and then maybe talk about the other things.
Thank you for that brief break. So participants can write down their questions in the chat box. Manoj sir will continue to answer those questions if you have any questions on that. Thank you, Manoj sir, for sharing the cases, use cases also. And what's next? You will be talking about it, the applications.
I will be
So,
talking about the applications and use cases, and some of those use cases are related to Rajasthan also.
right, great. So, please, attendees, please pay attention to the next segment of presentation. And there are people who have written their names as 200, 7, 80, and so on. So please change your name. And some have written in MKS. So we will not understand what does it mean. So please write your full names also. And someone has written SAS. So full names, please. Full names, please. You edit your name, and someone has just written 207. So if, do you
I
want a
think,
certificate? Yeah, over to Benita, ma'am.
yeah, I'm sorry, I just interrupted you. I'm really sorry. And this
Yeah.
is very important what KK has just read, that maybe please put your full name if you need certificate of participation for this session. And this session indeed is a very insightful session. It really gave a very nice idea about the whole concept. KK, we, for 5 minutes, since we have 5 minutes break, we can have a quick quiz where student can write their idea about what would they see Rajasthan by 2030. So
Yes.
let's just have this quick quiz, and out of that, if we get somebody's idea wonderful, we would have something good option for them for RCAT. Maybe a quick session on AI ML. They would get some good session on it. We can
Right.
start for them. So you can have this quiz right now. People can start putting their information, their idea, their opinion, or what they are thinking about Rajasthan by 2030. They can put on the chat window. Let's see. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, all attendees, participants, you are requested कि आप 2030 तक राजस्थान को कैसे देखना चाहते हैं, राजस्थान में क्या देखना चाहते हैं, how do you want to see your state growing, developing, becoming one important economic actor, technological actor in the country, in the world. तो आपका विजन क्या है, आपका मिशन क्या है? अगर हम बोलें कि आप इंडिविजुअल 2030 मिशन आपका क्या है, तो अगर आप if some good suggestion comes in, then we will definitely have we'll read that suggestion for every one of us. Vinita ma'am, Jyoti ma'am has joined. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for joining. So we are just taking the brief break to request everyone to contribute to Rajasthan Mission 2030. So 2 minutes of 3 more minutes. So please keep writing. अपना नाम सिर्फ ना लिखें, अपना नाम पूरा नाम तो लिखें ही, और उसके अलावा please write down what you want to see Rajasthan to become by 2030. I want to see Rajasthan as the IT hub of India. Pranab Chauhan. Okay. सिर्फ प्रणव चौहान भी लिखे अभी तक, प्लीज लिखते रहिए.
So I think others have also given some idea. KK, it would be great if you can, read out these ideas for people.
Rishabh says, I want Rajasthan government to organize well equipped with AI technology. And Srishti Tripathi, I would love to see Rajasthan at top in education in every field. I would love to see Rajasthan in education. Tanishq Sharma, we want to create AI lab in each and every college. Kartik Gupta want to see Rajasthan as the tourist hub for all over the world. So you know that Rajasthan is one of the leading tourist destination of India. And I want to see Vikas Yadav is saying a lot of investment in IT hub. By 2030, Rajasthan is to focus on soft skills and develop a robust technology mainframe. We are dependent on overseas technology for basic requirements. I wish to see Rajasthan that has robust examination taking protocol to prevent leaks and using AI and other methods to detect plagiarism. high-tech infrastructure at railway stations and other public places by Lakshya Singhal. Very good. Keep writing. Keep writing. So Manoj sir will be back in next 2-3 minutes. Keep writing these suggestions. We are taking note of the suggestions. We are also this is being recorded as well. So the suggestions will be available. I want Rajasthan as a pool of technology like Pune and Bangalore. Pritam Sahu. Jay Sameta, to be honest, I want first of all cleanliness with basic good infrastructure, like basic things like good railway stations, bus stations, good services among that with technology, and a good environment is needed, like we can say the roads and services. Devendra Parihar, in the realm of education by 2030, we anticipate significant focus on AI and data science. The state is likely to establish specialized education institutions. A lot of suggestions on AI and education and overall development. Thank you. Keep writing. Keep writing. More suggestions we have. We will perhaps have summary of that and utilized for Rajasthan Mission 2030. Keep writing. Keep writing. This is your expectation, yes, and then also you can suggest things how that can be done. If you have any insight into best practice, that this is how Singapore is doing, or this is how another country is doing in Europe, that Rajasthan can learn. If you know some global best practice, that is also you can share. Abhishek Joshi, Rajasthan University should tie up IITs and send our students to different IITs so that there are great placements, exposure, and many more. So many students, madam, want they to be technologically, education to be technologically advanced. Very good. Keep writing.
I think we should also I don't know how many of your students have gone through the RCAT website, but then government of Rajasthan has already taken a stride towards technology being imbibed into our education system, imbibed into our infrastructure, into our startup ecosystem. And these all information are there on the website. For startup ecosystem, you can go on the iStart, istart.rajasthan.gov.in. For RCAT, whole information are there on the website, rcat.rajasthan.gov.in. We have one of the best state data center in Jaipur. Students can come and visit that also, which is unique in itself. So there are a lot of IT initiative that government of Rajasthan has already taken, and we all should proud of it. Should proud of all these things happening in our state. And this is really good to see, KK, that students are taking interest and they are putting their feedback, their vision about Rajasthan 2030. And
Yes.
you can see that how students are really enthusiastic to see our state to be a pioneer state in the state, right? In the nation. That's great.
G. Thank you, Vinta ma'am. And students are writing, and they will continue to give feedback. In between, Manoj sir can be back to sharing what he wanted to share, some use cases and application. Over to you, Manoj sir.
All right, friends, thank you for your feedback and interaction. All right, so we were talking about the various disciplines, and now the areas, the various arms of AI, which includes ML, natural language processing, deep learning, and so on. So some of the applications here are some of the I would say strategic applications of artificial intelligence, right? And it is not limited to one field. And also, it is not that the applications are possible only in the fields that are highlighted in the slide, right? Just kind of a curtain raiser for all of us to know that how it can be used in various business areas. What is the need of uh, the R is the large amounts of data to train the machine, increased computing power, and data science skill sets, right? That of course includes the domain expertise, and that is what is required to influence the development and the function of all these applications, right? So it's not that we can develop a model with a handful of cases. We need large amounts of data to train the machine, and of course we need the skill sets also, right? Then only we can get these models in place. So some of the areas where we can use these AI applications, AI ML applications. For example, in banking. Now, banking insurance continues to remain an area where it is used to the max. And most of our clients, they are from this domain only. Because what is involved behind the scene is the dollar, is the money. Money is involved behind the scene. So we would like to detect frauds, the use of SaaS solutions. There are specific SaaS solutions like SaaS fraud and risk products. You know, they make use of the neural network models or the other machine learning algorithms, deep learning algorithms, in order to identify the fraudulent and the risky cases. Credit analysis, where I would like to know whether an individual or a company can honor its financial obligations. So you can ask me a loan for any amount, but do you really think that I'm going to give you the loan for any and every amount that you ask for? Not necessary. I have to evaluate the ability of the individual or the company to pay it back, right? So that is where all these applications, all these AI applications, AI ML applications are getting used. Automated financial advisors. Now, this is a fantastic application, or this can be a very great application, and you guys can think about it. And in what context you can think about it. So I give you one simple example. We can make use of um, the text analytics algorithms, right, to monitor the data streams for sentiments around different stocks. And stock market relies a lot on sentiments also. And those sentiments may be within your country or maybe outside of your country, but it can affect the market. So once you are able to monitor the data streams for sentiments around different stocks, you can collect that feed, you know and take it as an input into the some of the analytical engine. And then you can make a system where automatically the machine can advise you whether you should invest in a particular stock or not, or because of the given sentiment the stock is going down or continue to go down, and things like that. And I don't want to name anything. I don't want to name because this is not the right platform to take names of any of such instances in the past, but I think all of you are intelligent enough to understand that we had a recent example where the sentiments could bring the stock price of any company down to a great extent, right? Um, then in government, I think you have already given so many areas um, where we can actually talk about the government applications, smart cities. We can talk about the facial recognition and all these smart cities, facial recognition, security intelligence. Here we can make use of the algorithms, the deep learning algorithms, in order to identify a person, you know, that can actually be a security threat to your city or to your country. Health and the life sciences, we can talk about the predictive diagnostics. I have given certain examples from the medical field that relates to the text analytics, but not necessary that any one field can solve all these problems. Supply chain optimization, automated detection, defect detection. This is another application, where at the time of production of the parts only, you can identify the defective parts, right? So you don't have to actually assemble the whole machine, and then you have to bring it back. You have to call it back that some of the parts were faulty. You can identify it at the time of production itself, right? Energy forecasting is one example that we all are familiar with, and it can be used extensively across the domains, right? Then in the communication and the retail field, nowadays the need of the hour is to be able to send the I would say um, the marketing messages. They should be sent based on your profile. It's not that any message will can be catered to everyone. It's not like that. Nowadays companies are working in targeting the messages based on the user's profile, right? So this is kind of, I would say, personalized marketing efforts. Now this is there on the cards. So these are some of the applications. Now I will talk about this. These are the last slides. I will talk about a little bit about the SaaS solutions, where we are implementing these SaaS solutions with working with different governments. Rajasthan government is one of them. SaaS solutions in commercial text or exercise. Now you all know what kind of business, how much revenue flows in these two areas. I mean the exercise department and the commercial text department. And in order to reduce the revenue leakage, one should definitely try to make use of the tools, which can highlight the irregularities, identify the outliers for investigation. And that is the reason nowadays all of these appeals, you think of the example of IT, the income tax department. Most of the times, I would say almost 99.99% of the times, you are not dealing with any person in particular. You interact with a website, you get the questions fired through the website, you have to respond to those queries through the website. You are not meeting any officer for that matter. you know that reduces the biasness. You don't know who the person is, who the officer is, and the officer doesn't know who am I, right? But if some anomaly is detected, the officer is going to fire that query on me, and then I have to satisfy. Otherwise, I will have to pay the tax, and that is what is happening, right? So nowadays, just now, we saw an example where somebody had put a name instead of name. Somebody had put numbers like 201 or 101, right? Now, here in the government schemes, people have the, I mean, we have seen various, we have seen various reports, we have seen various instances where one person is making wrong use of its identity, and gaining or getting help from the government schemes from different corners, right? We know that this is wrong. Now what makes them you know beat the system and get a particular help from different sources? Maybe my name is Manoj, my another name is 101, right? And I am getting the benefits of the government scheme from both these identities. So we need to identify such suspicious activities, right? We can also look at the historical behavior. Look at the income tax that I'm paying, and look at my Facebook posts. I have visited Europe recently. I visited Singapore. This is just an example. But look at my tax return that I have paid, right? They are not talking to each other. So if somebody can make a holistic analysis of all my whereabouts, all my ecosystem, they will come to know that there may be some leakage, and Manoj is not paying his taxes regularly, or not paying the full tax, right? So there are ways of identifying this. And it is not through just one technique. It is through making use of all the techniques, that includes machine learning, that includes deep learning, that includes computer vision, that includes NLP. And that is why we are talking about data science. We are not talking about a single area. We are talking about how to take the help of all of these in order to solve the business problems. SaaS solutions in property tax. Now, what should be the property tax of a property that is deciding, that is in a particular locality, versus another property that is in a different locality? right? Now this should be based on various factors, and my dear friends, we have implemented this SaaS solutions in property tax in India and outside of India, right? And there nobody is there in order to raise the bills for you. It is the system that raises the bills depending upon the various factors. You just have to feed on those factors, and those factors can automatically be used by the machine learning algorithms to calculate the tax. And that is kind of changing. As the property value of your area increases, the property tax would also automatically increase. I don't have to sit and write a formula that, okay, from today the property tax is increased by 10%. No, nothing of that sort. There are various factors, that contributes to the property tax calculation, right? And we can incorporate all those things in our day-to-day work also, when we are working with the Rajasthan government, in order to make it self-sufficient as far as the revenues are concerned. SaaS solutions in agriculture. Right here, we can analyze the segments of the farmers and identify whether they are facing any stress, financial loans due to the weather conditions, soil conditions, how we can help them, how we can provide the various government schemes that are dedicated for the same purpose, but they don't know, they are not aware of it. Can you identify such segment of farmers? Yes, we can do the analysis, we can do segmentation, we can do clustering and identify such customers, and then we can target them dedicatedly, right? And then we can also eliminate the duplication, suspicious entities from the system. And I gave you one example of that duplication. 101 and Manoj Singh, they are the same person, but they are getting benefits from the government schemes under both the names, which is not correct because it's the same entity that is Manoj Singh, right? Um, then SaaS solutions in social benefits. There are so many other applications that I can, but in the interest of time, I will not be able to share all those applications, all those use cases. SaaS solutions in social benefits. Right now, we all know about Manrega, for example. In Indian context, we can talk about Manrega, and it's not surprising for you to know that single person, one person is kind of extracting money from various schemes where the person is not eligible, right? So we can kind of improve the detection of the fraudulent cases, abuse in the government treasury by making use of these algorithms. Again, it's not that I'm talking about a single or specific algorithm, but it is basically a mix and match of all the algorithms that we have studied, discussed in the previous slides. Now, what makes you capable of doing all this, right? Now, whatever applications that I have just now discussed, you know, you can make you can you can make yourself conversant in building such models or using the algorithms that comes from the SaaS via offerings, right? Now, depending upon what the need is, you can use data mining and machine learning, visual forecasting, visual text analytics, SaaS optimization, econometrics, data engineering, data visualization, right? You name it, and we have an offering. This is not the exhaustive list, but yes, you can make use of SaaS via offerings and capabilities in order to solve all the business problems that we discussed in the previous slides. Now, the final takeaway. Um, there is an offering in SaaS. We call it a SaaS Academy for Data Science. And you can become a data scientist by getting a certification in all of these four areas. Data curation professional. I mean, if you obtain a certification in any one, you become a professional in data curation. You become a professional or a certified advanced programming professional. You become a professional in the advanced analytics or AI and machine learning. But if you get a certificate in all of these four, then you become what is called as SaaS certified data scientist. But each of these can stand alone also. It's not necessary that you have to obtain a certificate in all the four. If you are not from the data curation field, you can very well look at the advanced analytics certification, right? Um, So friends, if you need more details, maybe you can contact either your professors. They may contact the SaaS representatives and can get you there. how to become a professional in SaaS data scientist. Remember, it is very difficult to um, you know get a degree at this point in time. So maybe if you have the bent of analytics, you can even obtain a certification, and then that certification is kind of sufficient for you to be able to solve the business problems that we have discussed uh, in our previous slides. This is just an overview, but I just tried to give you a complete picture of what AI looks like, what ML looks like. Um, but I would say that this is not all. It's an ocean, and I have just touched upon few things. So, my dear friends, this is all from my side. Raj sir, over to you. I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you, Manoj sir, for taking us everyone through the application and use cases across sectors in industry, in government, in startup, in education, in all sectors. And there are few questions. While students have raised their expectation level, because the Honorable Chief Minister wants by 2030 all of us to contribute 10 times our capacity and take Rajasthan to the next level. So some questions in this context that have come, or comments. Rahul Sharma is saying there should be a program by the big companies in collaboration with the government to select students from third tier or rural colleges, as these students remain deprived, even having potential. So this is a comment, and I will read a few more, and then Manojji, if you think there is an answer to that, maybe you can respond. Salu Agrawal ji says, I want to see my state, Rajasthan, as a dual developed state in all important sectors, including technology, tourism, politics, infrastructure, transportation, everything. Mostly, I will talk about the tech field, and the how can technology help our infrastructure and transportation become better. Manoj sir, over to you. Infrastructure and transportation.
So yeah, so in transportation also, we have kind of implemented SaaS solutions in the field of transportation, wherein you can minimize the wear and tear, because I can see that most of the times, the transportation wing of the government, whether it is, I'm from Madhya Pradesh, though I am sitting in Maharashtra, I'm from Madhya Pradesh, so I know that these transportation wings, what used to be MPSRTC, Madhya Pradesh State Transport Corporation, it no more exists now, and now everything is that what you call as the private buses, the iBus, the AICTSL, Atal something, Um, so what I'm saying is, most of the times when I was child, I used to hear about the wear and tear and the maintenance. The maintenance cost used to be huge, such that it was very difficult for the government to maintain that well. So one thing is the timely maintenance of any body, whether it is your body part or it's a machine. Timely maintenance is very, very important. And how can you do the timely maintenance unless you get some feeds, you get some alert from somewhere? You will not be able to make the timely maintenance. Whether it is your body also kind of responds to you that I need maintenance, but you don't pay heed to it. So same way, the transportation mechanism also kind of alerts you that some kind of maintenance is required in this part of the vehicle, and then it gets critical. And then a time comes when it fails somewhere in the jungle, and then you have to invest two times or three times of money than what you could have invested earlier in order to make it right, and that particular complete failure would have been avoided. So there are ways of installing. GPS is not a big problem nowadays. GPS is everywhere. The school buses have GPS. So through that GPS, you can create a dashboard. The dashboard will have all the data. You must have heard a term nowadays, Internet of Things, IoT. So all of these vehicles may be connected, right? And then through those connections, we will get the data from all the important parts. Like you get the data from heartbeats, body, heartbeats. You get the data, and if your heartbeats, your BP, your pulse becomes here and there, it might send an alert, and then you may approach to a doctor. Same thing can happen with the vehicles. We do the same thing with vehicles, and there we try to increase the longevity, we try to increase the average of the vehicle, we try to decrease the breakdown of the vehicle, thereby increasing the revenue, thereby increasing the efficiency. And these are all the reasons or the causes for the profit making. And that is where we lack. Whatever was, whatever traditional way we were dealing a thing, we continue to deal in the same fashion. And that is where, the wear and tear increase, and there comes a stage when we start incurring loss. So if we make use good utilization of the information that the vehicle is sending us, I think we can take corrective measures timely, and then we can minimize the loss.
Right. Thank you so much. I think we're coming to an end of the session, and the session has highlighted several aspects of the technology and how data science can be utilized in a futuristic sense to develop the economy, to strengthen, to bring profit efficiency, and to minimize waste. Also, augment the capacity of human professionals, and then can collaborate across sectors. So there have been some other queries and questions and comments on health and education and agriculture, mostly on those those sectors as well, and also on urban development. So with the keeping taking the time limit into consideration, we would like to have this discussion continue on the social media platforms of RCAT, which has Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and Facebook, on all platforms. This is also live on YouTube. So please continue to engage and keep asking the questions. Please write down the email ID of RCAT. That is the info, INFINFORCAT. I'm typing it in the chat box at the rate rajasthan.gov.in. So please send your queries or suggestions to the RCAT official email ID, and we'll definitely take it forward and respond to, we'll share that to Manoj sir for his official professional response on that. So info RCAT, everyone can see that on the chat box, INFORCAT at the rate RAJASTHAN, that is Rajasthan.gov.in. And thank you, Manoj sir, on behalf of Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology, which is taking an initiative across the state or even across the world to connect to Rajasthanis who have opinion and strong points, also aspirations to see Rajasthan doing extraordinarily well by 2030. And 2030 also coincides with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. By that time, the world is working towards world is working overtime to achieve sustainable development goals, and Rajasthan government has taken a pioneering initiative to reach out to young people, to government officials, to everyone, to get their opinion, to have their opinion. And with that brief information, we would like to close the session. And I would like to thank the team SAS, Freddy, and Manoj sir for bringing us this fascinating 1.5 hour session and educating, enlightening, informing, and entertaining all of us, helping us in the way, helping us to get more opinion and suggestion from our young friends and students across the state of Rajasthan. On behalf of Rajiv Gandhi Center for Advanced Technology, I, K. Das, thank Benita Srivastav, AG, our manager and Joint Director at DOITC, and our Executive Director, Madam Jyoti Luhadia, and who is also the Technical Director at Department of IT and Communication. Thank you so much. All the best. Please keep sending those suggestions and keep visiting the Mission 2030 website. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All the best.